Welcome to another video. Welcome to Salzburg. Today I got a present for you. These are Mozart chocolate balls. Those Mozart chocolate balls were invented for 100 years of Mozart's death, but did you know that the red ones are not actually original? Yesterday I got an email from the Chamber of Commerce that Mirabell, because of the crisis, are giving Mozart chocolate balls to the city guides. I got 2 of these boxes. It's about 100 Mozart chocolate balls. Now what's the plan? The plan for now is to go out and get as many different brands of Mozart chocolate as possible, and then we cut them open, see what's inside and try them all. This is a Mozart chocolate comparison. I'm heading out. You're welcome to join me, and I meet you again here later with all those different Mozart chocolate. So why is there Mozart chocolate everywhere in Salzburg? Well, the Mozart chocolate was invented for the 100th year of the death of Mozart by Paul Fürst. Fürst presented his new invention in Paris at the World Exposition. He won a prize for the best chocolate, became famous very fast, and already before he returned to Salzburg from Paris, people started imitating him. So already from like the end of the 19th century, Mozart chocolate is produced by Fürst and copied by lots of other shops. I read that it's 23 brands producing Mozart chocolate nowadays, but I couldn't find 23. I think we have 9 now. Maybe it's 9, yeah. Just so you know, that's not normal. Austrians would not eat Mozart chocolate. Mozart chocolate is a thing for tourists. Buying that much chocolate will burn a hole into your wallet. Had to withdraw money. Maybe I spent like 30 euros on Mozart chocolate, but that's a one-time experiment. And for you, if you visit Salzburg, it will be a one-time thing to try Mozart chocolate, maybe even as many as possible. So let's have a look at each of those Mozart chocolate brands. First of all, Mirabell. Mirabell is probably the most popular Austrian Mozart chocolate company. We have those packages here with 2 Mozart chocolate balls, and I bought 2 Mozart chocolate balls of all the other brands except for those supermarket brands where we had to buy a whole pack. And there is one difference between industrially made chocolate and handmade chocolate. Now, first, the original Mozart chocolate from 1891, it's still handmade, and it's only available in Salzburg. They only sell it at their 3 small shops and at the cafe at the old market where they produce the Mozart chocolate. And that's why first Mozart chocolate is not perfectly round and it has a dot here because they put it on a stick and they put marzipan on the stick and then they roll it in chocolate, in melted chocolate. Now, red is industrial Mozart chocolate, blue is handmade Mozart chocolate. Let's have a look at all the blue ones first. Schatz, that's Konditorei Schatz. Schatz is the place where they have the best cake, in my opinion. Schatz, another handmade Mozart chocolate. Braun is a specialty chocolate shop from Salzburg. That is Habakuk, is a cafe. All of those Mozart chocolates, they are in like these fancy small packs, and they have a small paper with the history. For example, here the history of Konditorei Fürst. What you have to know about the Mozart chocolate, not in the case of the supermarket Mozart chocolate, but if you buy the blue Mozart chocolate and you buy it in a pack of 3 or more and not in a small bag like this, then you actually pay extra for the packaging. So you pay a few euros more because the packaging is fancy. You don't get a price reduction because you buy more Mozart chocolate. Those packs in the supermarket you can only get bigger in some supermarkets. Some supermarkets you get Mirabelle at the counter. In other supermarkets you have to buy a whole pack. That's for example Hofbauer. It says Hofbauer Vienna, but Hofbauer Vienna was bought by Lindt, the Swiss chocolate company, famous Swiss chocolate company. So it's not actually Viennese chocolate balls anymore. And some chocolate balls you also couldn't call chocolate balls because that's not exactly a ball, it's flat on the bottom. So we have 9 competitors, 5 handmade Mozart chocolate balls on the left side, 4 industrially made chocolate balls on the right side. Let's have a look at the price. The price for Fürst Mozart chocolate is 140. One chocolate ball, 140. Price for Schatz, same, 140. Fürst invented the Mozart chocolate for 100 years of Mozart's death. Schatz started just after Fürst, and Schatz actually came up with the name Mozart chocolate ball, Mozartkugel, because Fürst called it a Mozart bonbon. Habakuk is a cafe here in the old, not 100% sure now, but I think Habakuk was 130. You will see it now in the video. Braun was 140 as well. Fürst, a few years ago, the first Mozart chocolate was still €1. So they raised the price a little bit every year. When I started working in tourism, it's 8 years ago, it was €1. So it's like approximately 10 cents every 2 years. Holzermeier is a little bit cheaper. Holzermeier is 120. So all of those are between 120 and 140. 140 is standard. Mirabelle Mozart chocolate depends on where you buy them. But all of those industrially made Mozart chocolates, they're about half of the price of the handmade Mozart chocolate. You can see that all of them are a little bit smaller. Mirabelle is the smallest of those Mozart chocolates. And I don't know now how much the price would have been in Billa, but for example, for those Hofbauer that are now part of Lindt, I paid like 69 cents, I think, around that. And same for Reba, the German production. Reba was 69 cents a piece. I read somewhere online that there are 23 different brands producing Mozart chocolate. Let me tell you about each of them and then I tell you what you should try when you come here to Salzburg. Now Fürst is popular because Fürst invented the Mozart chocolate for the 100th year of the death of Mozart. And Fürst is still handmade and you can only get Fürst Mozart chocolate in Salzburg. They don't sell it to any other shops. Now the difference is that industrially made Mozart chocolate is red. Original, like handmade Mozart chocolate is blue. A lot of shops, they produce blue Mozart chocolate also because everyone knows that the original Mozart chocolate is blue. But if it's not from a shop from Fürst, it's not original. Fürst doesn't sell to any of the souvenir shops. So anything that's not from a Fürst shop is not Fürst. Schatz is my favorite cake shop in Salzburg. I think they have the best cake and they have great Mozart chocolate. You can see that the chocolate is not at all round. That's because it's handmade. And Habakuk is just a a coffee shop here in Linzergasse, just around the corner. It seems like Habakuk is the biggest Mozart chocolate, and it's also not round because it's also handmade. One of my friends says that Habakuk is the best Mozart chocolate. I actually never tried. I will do that now. And then Braun. Braun is a specialty chocolate shop here in Salzburg. Until a few years ago, Braun was only selling their delicious chocolate, but now today when I went there, it looked like they're only selling Mozart chocolate because people want to try Mozart chocolate. Mozart chocolate is famous. They were not initially selling Mozart chocolate, like not 8 years ago when I started in tourism, but nowadays the whole shop is only Mozart chocolate. Holzermeier at the old market, that's also one of the producers that started very early. I think their shop existed in 1890 already, and these were ones of the first to copy the chocolate that Fürst invented. Mirabell and Reba, these are the two most popular brands. Mirabell is the brand from Salzburg, and Mirabell is not allowed to call their Mozart chocolate original. The only ones that are allowed to call their Mozart chocolate original is Fürst. They won a lawsuit. No one else is allowed to call their Mozart chocolate original. So there are two things. One, it has to be from the Fürst shop. And two is that it has to say original because only Fürst is allowed to say original. Now Mirabell calls their Mozart chocolate the real Salzburg Mozart chocolate, echte Salzburger Mozartkugeln, instead of original because the word original they're not allowed to use. Reba is not even a company from Salzburg. Reba is from Germany. So there was a lawsuit against them, and they're not allowed to call their Mozart chocolate Salzburg Mozart chocolate. So they call their Mozart chocolate original Reba Mozart chocolate. Echte Reba Mozartkugeln, because they're actually a German company, but the German company are the ones that produce the most chocolate balls. And chocolate balls, they get exported to so many countries in the world, especially Reba and Mirabell. And then Hofbauer was a company from Vienna, or is a company in Vienna, I don't know, but Hofbauer was bought by Lindt. Lindt is the big Swiss chocolate company. Victor Schmidt and Heindl, I think they're from Vienna, I'm not 100% sure, but they're also just two more industrial Mozart chocolate producers. Now what's actually inside the Mozart chocolate? Inside the Mozart chocolate is usually nougat, pistachio. There is chocolate around, like the original Mozart chocolate. It's made on a stick. Let's open our first Mozart chocolate and try the chocolate ball. That's the original Salzburg Mozart chocolate. Only Fürst is allowed to call their Mozart chocolate original. And here on top you can see there is a kind of a dot, and that's because the chocolate is made on a stick, like it's a ball of marzipan on a stick that's later rolled in chocolate. Let's open our first Mozart chocolate. That's inside. Inside there is marzipan, there is nougat, and there is chocolate around. That's the original Fürst Mozart chocolate, and you can actually see that there was a stick. Number two is the Mozart chocolate from Schatz and Schatz. They're my favorite cake shop in Salzburg. This one looks very interesting. I don't know why it looks like it has a hat or something. Let's have a look inside. That one, it's same handmade, and that looks very interesting. There is again chocolate around, marzipan inside, there is nougat, and there is one more layer that I don't know what it is. Do you know what the additional layer is? I don't know what that is. If I find it out, I post it in the comments below. Interesting, I just realized that the Schatz Mozartkugel, maybe I like it better. I never actually tried one Mozart chocolate after the other, but now I have a comparison and I think Schatz is better than Fürst. But Fürst is original, so you might want to try it. Habakuk, my friend, said that Habakuk is better than all the other Mozart chocolates. I don't know if that is true, I never tried it. Okay, that one also looks different. That one there is something liquid inside. Very interesting. Okay, so that whole experiment is much more exciting than I thought. I don't know what the liquid is inside here, and we cannot see very well what's going on. So that's from the Habakuk Cafe, and it doesn't actually taste like Mozart chocolate. It's delicious, it's worth trying, but it seems like something else. Next one is Braun. Braun was not originally producing Mozart chocolate. They're a specialty chocolate shop in Salzburg, but they probably found out that Mozart chocolate works very well, and that's probably why they are now also producing Mozart chocolate. The chocolate ball it looks like a praline. It doesn't look perfectly round, but it's more, and it's flat on the bottom. It has more of a praline shape than the others. And there is a lot of marzipan inside and nougat, but not very dark nougat. There is nougat inside. Marzipan is made out of almond and sugar. Marzipan is actually only almond and sugar. I love marzipan. There are people who don't like marzipan, so if you don't like marzipan, Mozart chocolate might not be for you, but it's really delicious, I can tell you. Good. The next one is Holzermeier. And Holzermeier, they also act like they're one of the original Mozart chocolate producers, and I think they are. I think Schatz, Holzermeier, and Fürst were the first ones to produce Mozart chocolate. Okay, that's interesting. Bottom doesn't look like it's handmade. And inside, okay, that's very different. There is only a little bit of nougat in the Holzermeier one, and a lot of marzipan, and there are 2 layers of marzipan. If that's marzipan at all, I'm not sure. There is one yellow and one white, and nougat is actually in the middle and on the side next to the chocolate. That's very different. The middle is not the marzipan. The middle, in the case of Holzermeier, is the nougat, and the marzipan is around the nougat. Interesting. Now we have 5 industrially made Mozart chocolate balls. That's Mirabelle. And Mirabelle is like the most famous Austrian brand. Mirabelle is what you find in most supermarkets. And Mirabelle looks like that. Do you know what the 3rd layer is? No. Mirabelle, there is marzipan inside, there is nougat around. And then Reba. Reba in general is the biggest producer of Mozart chocolate, but it's a German company. Reba is a German company. And there are a lot of Mozart chocolate shops in the old town of Salzburg that only sell this Reba Mozart chocolate. In the old town of Salzburg, when I started working in tourism, for example, in 2012, there were still some shops, like for example a mobile shop, and these closed and were replaced by chocolate ball Mozart chocolate shops, Mozartkugel shops, because that's what works best in Salzburg, because it's very popular, it's the most popular sweet. And this one looks similar to the handmade one from Braun. It also has 2 layers, one yellow, one white, and in the middle there is the nougat. So that's the most produced Mozart chocolate. They sell like millions of chocolate balls every year. Hofbauer, it says Hofbauer, the shop is from 1882. In 1882, the Mozart chocolate was not yet invented, so it was also a chocolate shop before it became a Mozart chocolate producer. And it says it's from Vienna, Hofbauer, but it was bought by Lindt, so it now belongs to the Swiss company. And inside, similar to Reber, very similar, nougat in the middle and marzipan around nougat. And again, yellow and white marzipan. If I find out what the difference is between those two, I will post it in the comments below. Victor Schmidt. Not sure about the company, but they're also fairly popular. You find them in many supermarkets. I guess that it's a company from Vienna, but I am not sure. And this is very different. There's a lot of marzipan inside, and there is a lot of nougat inside in the middle, and a little bit of marzipan around the nougat. So that's the opposite. Those are the opposite of what Fürst invented, with marzipan inside and nougat around. Last one is Heindl, and that's similar to Victor Schmidt. I have no idea about the company. I also guess that it's from Vienna. It looks like a praline, marzipan inside, nougat around, and then there is the chocolate, and good amount of nougat, but also marzipan. And that's it. 5 of the supermarket Mozart chocolates, 5 of the handmade Mozart chocolates. I would recommend you to try the first Mozart chocolate if you want to try the original. My favorite would be the Schatz Mozartkugel. Really delicious, and Schatz is my favorite cake shop. It was now actually the first time I tried their Mozart chocolate. Braun tastes more like a praline, doesn't taste so handmade. That's Haberkuck was also really good. I don't think it's the best one, but it's also worth trying. And Holzermeier was okay. And then if you don't want to spend too much money on Mozart chocolate, the industrially made Mozart chocolate is around half of the price of the other one. So maybe as a present you can buy those red ones. Red is industrial, blue is handmade and original. And that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy your Mozart chocolate if you come to Salzburg and you try. And there will be another video where I talk more in detail about the history of the Mozart chocolate. If you would like to know about the history of the Mozart chocolate now, there is a link in the description below to one of the articles I wrote about that topic a while ago. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, as always, comment below, call me, text me, whatever. I hope to see you in Salzburg. Hope you have a great day, and thank you.
Are you full now?
Yes. Too many Mozart chocolate. And maybe you actually don't do what I just did. It's not only about the Mozart chocolate being expensive, it's also about you feeling very full after eating that much chocolate. One of the chocolates is actually enough, and that's also why the price is kind of reasonable. 140 for one of the original Mozart chocolate, and one chocolate ball is actually enough.